March 2nd, 2015. I'm going to call this meeting to order. 7 p.m. Roll call. Neil?
Here.
Bill? Kathy?
Here.
Mary Jane?
Here.
Mayor Van Winkle is out, and Ralph is out. Okay. I need a motion to accept the February minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Kathy?
Yes.
Mary Jane?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Neil?
Abstain.
I need a motion to approve the warrants and payroll timesheets.
Second.
I move they be paid. Bill seconded.
I'm just trying to shorten it up.
You don't need all that.
Neil?
Yes.
Bill? Bill?
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes.
And Mary Jane?
Yes.
I need a motion to approve the transfer of police revenue from the general fund to the police fund.
So moved.
Second.
Neil?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes.
Mary Jane?
Yes.
I need a motion to approve police fund monthly operating fund transfer.
So moved.
Second.
Neil?
Yes.
Bill? Kathy?
Yes.
Mary Jane?
Yes.
I need a motion to approve the interest transfer.
I move the interest be transferred to the appropriate fund.
Second.
Neil?
Yes.
Bill? Kathy?
Yes.
Mary Jane?
Yes.
Susan's not here yet, so
Hi, here. Is that Susan? Yes.
Yes.
Hi,
Susan.
Susan.
She's right on the dot.
Yeah. It's your turn. Uh-oh.
we'll give you a minute to get situated. Chief, do you want to go ahead and do yours?
In February, the police department handled 92 calls for service. It took 13 reports. There were no arrests made. We issued 5 citations and 7 warnings. The only other thing I got is after the last council meeting, Mayor Van Winkle wanted me to look in at possibly getting another AED, which is an automated external defibrillator. We have one, and it stays in the police car, and at the end of shift, we switch them out. So last month, after the passing of Mr. Carlisle, Kevin had it, was actually in the middle of town, and I needed it here. Luckily, he heard me call it over the radio, so he responded here, and we used it then. So we actually contacted Reed Hospital to see if they could help us out with them, because they're roughly $2,000 a piece, and they have agreed to donate us 4. So we'll have 1 for each car, plus 1 here in the building, and they're even going to donate us a cabinet to put it in. So on March the 10th, I got to go over there for a little training session and sign off on all that stuff, and so we'll have those here next month.
That's all them bills I didn't pay.
Me too, honey, believe me.
That's great.
Yeah, and then I also want to mention Dana did get the check today for the donation of the radio.
Yeah, we actually
That's
have a
great.
check. Yeah.
Yes, the check. So, something I would like for you all to think about. Jay, don't listen, but when we get these AEDs in, all of my guys, we have a training session once a year at the fire department. Usually it's between $25 and $50 a person to go to this. I would like county to consider between all of the village employees. That way, if I go down, Jamie can help me. So, you know,
Do you know that's not scheduled yet?
it is not scheduled. They told me last week when I called that they would wait till we get our equipment that we're actually training on, you know, the new ones in case they're a little different than the ones we have. So, so they'll probably be late March, maybe even next year, or next month, I'm sorry. So they won't be too far off.
Well, that's a good idea, the employees, we do have some employees that might need that.
Absolutely. And it's
Well,
like,
anybody
you
could
know,
need it.
an hour and a half, they do CPR plus the AED, and so I think it's a good idea.
You can do it, Jamie.
Well,
Stick them on.
I mean,
stick
it
'em
wasn't-
on.
it's
That's
okay.
All
it.
you gotta do, baby, hit the button.
Right,
That's right.
right.
I mean, that might be something that should be mentioned to, at the board meeting, too. I've said, we don't know what it is, but we will know in plenty of time, and it wouldn't hurt if they also knew where the one was here, and,
Right. Yeah, it's supposed to have its own nice little cabinet where if you open the door on it, it sets off a buzzer or something, so it lets us know that
somebody's in there, yeah.
using it or something going on, so.
I used to do it, you used to do it. We both been on
We
the
got our
emergency
first, we
squad.
got our first.
I couldn't get down on the floor.
I was
I need somebody out there, help me get back up.
Didn't
We're
work,
so
it
simple,
worked, but
right?
it didn't
They walk
save the
you
guy.
through it, so.
Now we first, I'm working it in.
I would be interested in learning how to use one of those.
Yeah.
I've never had to use one of those, it's the old fashioned things.
And it talks to you, tells you exactly what to do, it's pretty simple.
So you need a motion or?
Probably for the funding, you know, I'm thinking it's probably $50 a person max. I mean, my budget will take care of my guys, but as far as Damon and the water department guys, I don't know if you want to
And if they want to,
fund that out of general fund.
it would have to be mandatory to make them take.
Is it likely that we'll meet again before they get ready or not?
They schedule it later this month, probably not.
Okay, okay.
So, like I said, I don't have a date set yet. It's when the fire department does it, then we tag along with them. So, but he told me he would probably set it up late March because we're supposed to get ours next month, or next week. So we don't want to, you know, we don't just want them sitting on a shelf. We want them out where we can use
Sure
them
we
so
do.
we can be trained on them. So,
Well, I'd say as far as our employees, we can take care of that now. Let the board of public affairs.
Well, that's
take
what
care
I'm
of
thinking
theirs.
too, if we go ahead and take care of
Yes,
Jama.
yes, yeah.
Yeah, I make a motion that everyone,
That we pay the cost of
yeah,
it,
that we pay the cost of their training.
and I would second that.
Okay.
I could have got that.
Yeah, you could have
Could've.
done that for us and saved us a lot of time. Gee.
Neil,
Yes.
Bill,
Yeah.
Kathy,
Yes.
Mary Jane.
Yes.
Jim,
And then, do you want me to bring that up to BPA in the next Monday meeting for Brian and Jeff?
I think that would, I mean, in my opinion, yeah, I think it's something that they need to explore. I don't, you know,
And maybe
we
if,
can't order
what
them to
about
do it, but I think that would be a good idea, and maybe even Eddie. I never thought about Eddie, but
if anybody on,
Well,
on
Sure,
council
I think
or
absolutely.
BPA,
that village employees includes Eddie Van Zandt also, and you, and then Chris has budgeted for that.
Say anybody
great
that wants
police
to
bus.
go. Can't really force them to go.
with this,
Okay, while we're here, Jama, chief driver's review is already up and has been. I've talked it over with Ralph, I've talked with the mayor also, and I'd like to propose that we give him a 2% raise. I think he's done a hell of a job, and he's, as always, he went for a lot of years not having a raise at all.
I second that.
Neil,
Yes.
Bill,
Yeah.
Kathy?
Yes.
Mary Jane?
I'm just,
Yes.
now I'm afraid to
What
say
is
it.
wrong
I'm
with
afraid
you?
to
Are
say
you
it.
on drugs tonight?
Thanks, chief.
Yep, thank you.
I should have said.
And the press is here too.
Yeah.
I need your signature.
Don't
on this.
put that in there.
If you don't mind.
I'll come back to haunt you.
I just need your signature here, if you don't mind doing that now, so I don't forget. And I'll have Chief sign it too.
This is the funniest meeting I've ever been to.
All right, Susan, you'd like to go ahead, we'll
Okay, that'd be great. I got a couple things this evening that I need you to take some action on, if you would, please. The first thing has to do with the West Cherry Street Improvement Project. As you probably saw, there's some big orange X's out there on the street, which are the ones that will come down. They've gotten 2 bids, and I think I have one in, one came in bid is from Stevens Tree Service. I think we've used them before. Theirs is the same, 7 trees, clean up all the brush, 24-inch on the stump, and their bid is $4,200.
What was the other one? 40?
$4,450 and $4,200. So they're really very close. So at this point, the funds will come out of the project funds that we have. So it is, included as part of the project cost. So I guess if you guys have a preference, you have questions about that, it's pretty cut and dry, pretty much like we've done before.
It was Stevens, and who was the other one?
Ohio Overhead Services.
Who's that? Somebody we know or not?
Yeah.
I don't know her.
We've used Greg on about, 2 or 3 of our projects now. He's a local guy anyway, and I think that.
Overhead Services cut trees up at the
Yeah.
school.
Yeah. Personally, myself, I'd like to keep it
Is
within our
that-
community to a guy that we know has done work
Yeah.
before.
I make a motion, we go with Greg.
Okay, for the $4,200?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Neil?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes.
Mary Jane?
Yes.
Okay, well, it's okay with you, I will contact him and get the paperwork done that we need to do with the
And we're
Iowa
gonna have that
Workers
done
Commission.
before the end of April, do we not?
I talked with him on the phone, we don't have to because we don't have the Indiana back, because we don't have any federal funding, so it's
So
not
we don't,
really a problem.
it's not like it had been in the past.
Right,
Where we
right.
had to have it down.
Right, right. But when I talked to him, because he did call me, I told him we'd really still like to have them down by April
Yeah.
1st. He said he was getting ready to start a big job, so if he found out relatively quickly, he'd probably come and do them almost immediately.
Yeah.
Because then he was going to some big job and he'd be gone for like 4 weeks or a month.
Right, so that's good.
So that was kind of his comments to me when I talked to him.
Gas up your truck, chief.
So anyway, that's where we'll go, so I'll get hold of him.
Okay, cool.
Okay. The next thing I need from you is I need an authorization to complete the bidding on West Cherry Street. At this point, what I plan to do is have the advertisement to the newspaper this week after you give me authorization. We'll advertise on March the 11th and March the 18th. We'll take the bids here at the Village Building on April the 2nd, and you guys can pick the time so that, which is a Thursday, to be clear. And then the thought is that would give me a day or two to look over the bids, and then we'll be ready to award them on the 6th. I didn't really want to take bids on April 1st, I thought that could be bad. So I started to move on to the 6th. Okay, give me April Fool's bid, that'd be bad.
If it's right in with us all together.
Yeah, it does. So anyway, so that's kind of the thought is, we usually put it in the Registered Herald, and they only print on Wednesdays. So it would print the 11th and the 18th, the bids would be due the 2nd, then we would be in a position to award on the 6th. We did go ahead and do the design work in your present contract that you have for no extra cost for the end, from Jefferson Street down to the end, and then we're gonna bid that little piece as an alternate. It's got a cost estimate of about $30,000 on it. So we're gonna bid it as an alternate bid to the base. If we could do any of it, with the base bid, because it would come in under budget. First, I'd like to do the curb, because they bring a curb machine in to do
Yeah.
that. And you can always go back and do sidewalk later, but it's pretty, the curb, you can get a lot cheaper with a curb machine per foot
Now-
than the sidewalk, would be.
Did we go ahead and decide just to wedge that in on the side?
Yes, we are.
That's all we're going to do because they're coming in at 16, aren't they?
Yes, they
The
are.
state's coming through in 16 to do that.
And I've already talked with Jennifer Elliston down at Lebanon, at
Yeah.
District 8, about that and told her what you're doing. And so they will be paving that next year.
Good.
So kind of we'll all be, all set
Right.
and ready to go. So that's why, if at all possible, we can at least do the curb. I think that would be money well spent. Hopefully we'll have enough in the budget. We can at least do the curb part on down and get all the curb done, and then, even if we don't have enough money to do all the sidewalk, we can always come back and do that in pieces, later. But the curb would be kind of important because it does have a wedge, and at that
Yeah.
point, you probably wouldn't do it for 10 years, because it'd be that long until they probably
be brought here, sealed bids?
Yeah, the bids will be accepted here on April the 2nd. We can do it however you want to do. If you want to, if there's a time that works for everybody, you don't have to be here. A lot of times I do them at 10 o'clock, or I'll do them at 1 o'clock. I do them, done them at noon before.
And that would be something, well, you need it to be advertised, don't you?
What?
You need to set the time.
Yeah,
So it
well,
can be
yeah, I kind of
advertised.
need to set the time. I guess, what time do you go to lunch?
I will be here April 2nd because I have that annual conference.
Okay,
I'll be in Columbus.
For how many
April-
days?
For 3 days. The 31st, the 1st, and the 2nd. Actually, I'll be leaving the afternoon of the 31st because that's the state auditor's conference.
will you be back on Friday?
Yes.
That'd be the best
That-
time.
is
So
that-
we either have
that's
Friday or
Friday.
Monday, is probably what we got. If we do Monday.
I know that's Good Friday, isn't it? That would matter.
That wouldn't even really give us
Huh?
3 weeks.
We'll be here on the
That is
It's
Good
Good
Friday.
Friday.
Morning, darling,
It
morning.
doesn't matter to you.
Over
Oh,
here.
yeah, okay, all right.
We first week on the Good Friday, I don't get it on.
Don't we keep doing it?
Yeah, we're here on the 3rd.
You're- I don't know, I guess it's up to you whether you want to do Good Friday or not. If we did Good Friday, I would definitely want to do it at 10 o'clock.
You guys don't.
Absolutely, that's what
Because
we-
a lot of people are.
Right, are in and out and
Are
getting
doing
out.
it on Friday, that Good Friday, and they have the afternoon off, I know,
Right.
but.
I don't either, we're here.
Well, a lot
That's
of the
the
banks,
people
a
do,
lot of
yeah.
the banks close at noon on Friday, that Good Friday. So if you want to do it on Friday, then I would say let's do it at 10 o'clock Friday
That's
morning.
the way you've usually done it anyway.
Yeah, so if you want to do that, we'll do 10 o'clock Friday morning.
I mean, that's all right with Gina.
That's
Be
fine.
back.
Okay, let's just plan on, because I'd rather do it on the day they're here, because there'll be people that show up 8 o'clock, just drop off their bid and leave. Where if you're not here, either somebody else is gonna have to be here, or it's just gonna, I think, would make it a little more cumbersome for you, and, if she wasn't here. So, is that okay with everybody then? We'll do it April the 3rd
Yep.
at 10 o'clock.
Are you gonna open the office that day, then, Jim? Because that's Friday, you're open.
Oh.
You'll have to.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but most people won't know that your office is closed.
Right.
From the outside.
Right.
Anyway.
Yeah, we'll just open it till
We'll
like.
have to. Don't do it.
Yeah, like,
Yeah,
yeah, but it's an open
Open
meeting.
it till like 10.
Yeah, just have it open from 8 to 10, and then we'll do the bids,
Yep.
and then you shut the office, and is that all right?
Yep, that'll
I'm
be
really
great.
messing you up, aren't
Yeah,
I?
that-
Would you rather we do it on the 30th?
Monday, the 30th.
It doesn't matter, it's gonna be one way or another because I'll have to get stuff done for the end of the month before I leave or after I leave, it doesn't matter. You pick, it doesn't matter.
Okay, probably just to give everybody
That would
enough
give you the
time,
best
it'd be
option,
nice
too.
if we could do it on the 3rd. So let's just do it on the 3rd at 10 o'clock, is that all right?
Yep, that'll
Okay,
work.
All right, thank you.
Let me make
And
it-
I need a motion to authorize the bidding of the West Cherry Street Improvements Project.
So moved.
Second.
Neil,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
Mary Jane.
Yes.
Very good. All right, the next thing I have for you is I have some cost estimates related to the school building. I talked with Rick about this somewhat at length, and after our discussion, we kicked around some things about the EPA's program that they have that we talked about before. And the thoughts there are, if we use the EPA program, which we can, are we opening up a can that we don't want to open? Because now you get them involved in how much control are they going to want to have? Versus if we went ahead and did the environmental survey kind of within the village with someone, someone that's obviously certified to do it, and then you kind of see what we have to deal with and what we have to tackle, and then decide how we want to move on as far as funding related to trying to get the building down. In our conversation, he was thinking that at the time that the building sold at auction, it was supposed to be like 95 or 98% asbestos free. And that was how it was sold, so to speak. So, hopefully there may not be that much asbestos in there, but you're not going to know until we look at it. So I think the thought that he and I had was, if we go the EPA route, then they're obviously going to be in the middle of it. Because they're going to know everything that's going on, and they're going to, possibly put some constraints on it that maybe you wouldn't have if you didn't involve them in their money. So with that being the case, I went ahead and got some cost estimates. Environmental Assessment Services out of Franklin, Ohio, will basically come in and do an asbestos evaluation, a pre-demolition report, and then what they call a universal waste evaluation, which is where they look for any other type of things that could be an environmental problem, like any type of PCB valves, any type of, electrical things that could become a problem that you have to remove before you can just demo the building. The cost for all their sampling, the evaluation, and the report is on the back there. It's $3,200, and then they'll charge $13 for every asbestos sample that they would decide to do once they get in there. There's not very much asbestos, there wouldn't be as many, but I think it's just more to recoup their cost of the actual sampling, the cost to run the sample. The other company is Sierra Environmental. They are a company that was used in Eaton on the school building there on Marion Street. I contacted them through Aztec. I've never worked with Sierra. I have worked with Environmental Assessment Services a number of times. But Sierra basically given a cost of $5,650, and it's in the last paragraph on the second page there. And then they would charge $10 for asbestos sample.
On top of $56.50.
On top of the $56. So at this point, I think the thought is that if the village could cover the cost of the environmental survey part so that we can try to decide what are we dealing with up there, it would probably be money well spent and you wouldn't really have anybody else's fingers in it. And then, depending on what we find out, we can decide if we want to move forward with some type of, funding through the EPA or what have you, or
So even though they didn't do the inspection, we could still go to them with the results and say,
yes.
can you help us with the abatement?
Yes, you can. But if we get in there and there's really not that much there, then it might be cheaper for you in the long run
Yes.
to just have somebody come in and demo it and not have all the strings attached to somebody's money, because as we know, there's not too many dollars out there that don't have some kind of strings and rules attached. But you'd still be doing this in the proper manner. You wouldn't be, going around any channels. You wouldn't be doing anything wrong. And if somebody called up and said, hey, there's stuff in that building, and we say, yes, we know, and we've taken whatever precautions need to be taken, and we're dealing with that. So, you're not doing anything that's, averting, a
Yes.
step that
Yes.
you need to take. You're taking the right steps. It's just, instead of trying to pull somebody else's strings into it, let's just see what we have,
Sounds like a
between
good idea.
ourselves,
Yes.
and then
Very
figure
good
out
idea.
where to go. So that's kind of my thinking, at this point, is that maybe after he told me the business about it being 95 to 98% supposedly asbestos free, it kind of made me think, it might be better off to just kind of let somebody look at it, see what we really have, and then decide from there.
I think we were most concerned, people that would floor tile in that annex building, elementary annex building.
Okay.
This was built in the 50s,
Okay.
and there seemed to be almost a consensus that that would be asbestos tile
Okay.
because of the time frame. Now, whether that tile was ever replaced, I doubt that, but
Yeah.
it's possible that it
Yeah,
had
I
been.
know. Yeah, and I know there was some concern about maybe some insulation wrapped around some piping.
There is that, and that's clearly marked. That there shouldn't be a problem about finding that, because it is marked and it's been sealed.
Okay.
still no big deal, and this is the step we're going to have to hand to the EPA and say, look, we've already done this, here it is.
Right.
And the EPA is going to listen to these guys.
And there's some programs, you know, depending on where we decide to go from here, there's some programs that would probably do some reimbursement. And you could like include this as part of your cost.
Yeah.
And then you could get it
Down the road,
reimbursed.
yes.
You know, I mean, I think that's potentially there, you know, if we decide to go through a brownfield type program. You know, there are things like that. They're all let you reimburse yourself for costs like that because it's something that you had to do to get to the next.
Sure.
And they, you know, they understand that.
We're gonna have to do it.
That's part of that animal, you know,
Yeah.
it's just how it is. So, anyway, that's what I brought to you. If you guys want to think about it, that's fine. If you want to take action on it, that's fine. You know, it's really kind of how quickly you want to move on it.
I think we need to move on it.
The longer we sit here doing nothing, what do we got?
But there
No.
are, at one time, I had the reports from when they took the asbestos out of the old school. And I got them from the high school out here at National Trail. So
Really?
there are reports.
Okay, how about if I contact them and see what I can get out of them about the building? Because surely they have something.
They do have it, because they gave me copies of it.
Okay.
But for some reason, I don't remember what it was now.
Because we were going to look at getting that building, you had the copies for it, remember?
Oh,
When it came up for
oh,
auction in
yeah,
96.
yeah, that's right.
Okay, I'll contact the school,
Yes.
and talk to the superintendent's office and see if they can't resurrect any of that
That's-
stuff and see if there's some way they can scan it.
Talk to my brother was on the
The
school board at
maintenance,
the time.
let's see.
Mark Hoffman. He's a teacher out there,
Ryan.
teaches 7th grade social studies.
Is it Ryan Smith is the head of the maintenance out there? I think I got him
Yeah, but
from
he's
him.
new, well, I don't know if, you know, you might talk to him too, but anyway, if you have anything,
Yeah,
talk
call
to my brother.
Mark.
Okay, all right, well, let me do that, because I didn't realize there,
Yeah,
I mean, I
there
know
are
that there was
reports.
some comments about it being a
And I
surface
remember-
tree or somewhat, or,
I lived across the street from the school, and I remember seeing these guys in these white suits when they was tape removing it.
okay.
Or maybe that was when I was on Mars. Okay,
Okay, well then I'll do that.
but
I'll
there are
contact-
reports out there.
Okay, well, that's good to know.
Anyway, do you want to go ahead and make a motion on this or not?
Yeah,
And move ahead?
move
Kathy?
ahead, yeah, make a,
With, yes, I think.
Go
we
with,
should do that, but
what was that first one you,
For $3,200 a day?
Yeah, I will, I mean, we'd be
I know.
very happy
This
with
one
it,
here.
so. And I think for the difference
The
in cost,
32.
you're pretty much.
well,
doing
that's the
something.
fixed cost, and then you have, on top of that, you pay $13 per sample.
yeah. And that was with,
Environmental
yeah.
assessment services.
yeah, I make a motion that we go with the environmental assessment services out of Franklin, Ohio for the $3,200 fixed cost and the $13 sample. Get this thing going.
Yes. I'll second.
Kathy?
Yes.
Mary Jane?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Neil?
Yes.
Next thing I have has to do with the CDBG grant application. And I have two resolutions for the pass related to the allocation grant and then the neighborhood revitalization grant. And if you remember, we're kind of doing this in advance. We're not actually quote unquote applying this year because we're waiting because we're waiting until we get the phase one portion funded by our Ohio Public Works Commission, and then we're gonna put them together and do both is kind of the idea. But I went to a planning meeting that the county had in regards to the CDBG program, and it's something new that they have to do now with their application that they didn't have to do in the past. And so basically I went and put your name on the list so that you were represented, and then they took names of projects and types of projects that people wanted to do and tried to match them up with the programs. And I talked with them about your project, which is Spring Street to Washington Street. The first phase that we have in the Ohio Public Works Commission pipeline is from the Corp line or there past the water plant, excuse me, to Spring Street. And that would include new curb gutter, sidewalk, it would mill and pave with repair of any areas where we've got base failure, and then storm sewer, because there's no storm sewer down through there. And then that's also what's in phase 2. Phase 2 cost is around $389,000. And so basically what I've looked at is the grant itself would be $300,000. And then we need to add $3,000 on for the county's administration of that, so that puts us at $392,000. So the $92,000, we could probably get $42,000 from the county's allocation fund, because they like to put some of that money with the application that we're submitting, and that would probably leave around $50,000 that the village would have to come up with. That would be, the way I wrote the resolution is that would be for your 16-17 fiscal year. So we could probably take it out of more than 1 year, if that would be helpful. Remember, we're also going to be doing it kind of at the same time we do the other projects, and you have some match to that one as well. If we do it that way, the match is about 12.8%, which is better than the 26% we have on the other end, because that's kind of where we have to be to score on the Ohio Public Works Commission. We can't really go in with much less than that. So, with that being the case, it's possible maybe we could drop your 26% a little bit if we can get this grant, because we could use that to make up some points on a different leverage scoring criteria, because there's one where you leverage other grant money, and then there's one where you leverage your money. So if we could get some points here, we might be able to take you down a little bit, ask for a little more grant money, and decrease how much you're asking for. But I'm not going to know until we get to that point. So that's a potential where maybe we could take your share down a little bit. But for now, what we would be doing is we'd be submitting the application this year, kind of as a trial, so to speak. And then really want them to consider it next year, but kind of like get yourself in line, because they're kind of making a little bit of like a pipeline, kind of like the OPWC stuff is. That's kind of where this is going, because they have to submit a worksheet of projects, kind of like in a pipeline type deal that will be coming out of the county. And those projects have to show up on that list to be funded. So that's kind of what's happening. So I basically just want to get you in line. So this can change. It could be that come next year we tweak it a little bit and do something different. But this is kind of where I'd like to go into it at this year. And so basically what there is there's a resolution to apply for an allocation grant with no match, which is the $42,000. And then there's a resolution to apply for the $300,000 with a $50,000 match. So we'll be asking for 42 on the allocation, and then we'll be asking for 300, and then our match to basically the whole ball of wax will be 50. And that's just where we're going to go in this year. And then we'll kind of refine it a little bit for next year when we really want to move forward. And the OPWC money match will get you the leverage points you need to make you competitive at the state level. Without it, it'll be hard. Because you about have to have at least $150,000 to match that 300. So by using that, we'll be well above that, which will be good. So we're just kind of, again, trying to plan ahead, which, as you know, is the name of the game in this thing. That's kind of how we get projects done. So, that's kind of what we're doing here. So I've got 2 resolutions, and I do have an emergency clause in each one of them so that they can be submitted on the 20th of March. And it allows Rick to sign the applications. And we can do that when he gets back. Because he asked me, do I need to sign anything? And I'm like, no, we'll be fine. They didn't want to mess anything up. Anyway, that's what I'm saying. You want to read them?
Yeah, I'll read it. Which one? I'll do it. big one or the little one?
Go ahead with the big one. I have resolution number 2015-030.
Resolution number 2016-03, resolution to apply for a CDBG grant through the Preble County Ohio Commissioners for the East Cherry Street Improvements Phase 2 project. The budgeting of at least $50,000 in matching funds from the Village of New Paris budget for the calendar year 2016-2017 and declaring an emergency. Now, whereas a CDBG grant is potentially available through the Office of the Preble County Ohio Commissioners through the Community Development Neighborhood Revitalization Grant Set-Aside Program for street-related infrastructure improvements. And whereas at least $50,000 of matching funds may be required from the Village of New Paris to receive said grant. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the Village of New Paris, Preble County, Ohio as follows. Section 1, application for a grant from the Preble County, Ohio Commissioners for a street improvement project on East Cherry Street in the Village of New Paris, Ohio is hereby authorized, as is the consent of the mayor, to sign all documents necessary on behalf of the village to carry out said application. Section 2, that at least $50,000 of matching funds from the Village of New Paris, Ohio are hereby authorized to be budgeted for the calendar year 2016-2017 in order to assist in the improvement. Section 3, Moulton Associates Incorporated is hereby authorized to assist the village in its application process and subsequent engineering of the project. Section 4, this resolution is hereby declared to be an emergency measure to take effect and be enforced immediately upon its passage to meet the Community Development Block Grant deadline.
I need a motion.
I need a motion. I make a motion that we approve the resolution 2015-03.
I need a second.
I need to second that.
Neil?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes.
Mary Jane?
Yes.
And since there's an emergency in there, do I need to go ahead and?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I make a motion that we make this emergency, waiving the 3 reading rules.
So moved.
Neil?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes.
Mary Jane?
Yes.
All right, Neil, the next one will be 2015-03.
I said 2016 on
I
it.
thought the other one was on 3.
Oh, sorry, 04, sorry.
Yes, this is our full.
Sorry,
Where's my minutes?
I was signed in 2 for Susan.
You signed it?
Yes. She's got me signed in 3 separate.
One for her, one for me.
Thank you.
Try to pick yours.
Appreciate it.
Resolution number 2015-04, resolution to apply for a CDBG grant through the Preble County, Ohio Commissioners for the East Cherry Street Improvements Phase 2 project and declaring it emergency. Now, whereas a CDBG grant is potentially available through the Office of the Preble County, Ohio Commissioners through the Community Development Allocation Grant Program for street-related infrastructure improvements. Now, therefore, be resolved by the Council of the Village of New Paris, Preble County, Ohio as follows. Section 1, application for a grant through the Preble County, Ohio Commissioners for a street improvement project on East Cherry Street in the Village of New Paris, Ohio is hereby authorized, as is the consent of the mayor, to sign all documents necessary on behalf of the village to carry out said application. Section 2, Moulton Associates Incorporated is hereby authorized to assist the village in its application process and subsequent engineering of the project. Section 3, this resolution is hereby declared to be an emergency measure to take effect and be enforced immediately upon its passage to meet the Community Development Block Grant deadline.
Need a motion for that one?
So moved.
Second.
Neil?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes.
Mary Jane?
Yes.
And I need an emergency. Waive the 3 reading rule for that one.
Will we declare
Oh.
emergency and waive the 3 reading rule for resolution 2015-04?
Second. You got another meeting, that's
I
right.
have.
2 more.
Oh, good.
Yeah, not really.
Well, be careful.
It's like a popular night.
Don't drive like I do. Get caught. I won't.
Chris is here, right?
Yeah, there you
Yeah, but the other officers out there waiting.
Oh, I'll be good then, I'll be good.
go. Just remember, wait till you get out past the ballpark to the bridge, then you can stop. So you put
All right,
that.
goodbye, thank you.
See you soon.
Bye.
Building.
I know Rick and I, we've talked about this, and maybe it's something that we need to think about doing. Since things have changed in our community a little bit, we've talked about putting in our own gas pumps here, down here, for our use ourselves, and buying the gas directly from New Paris Oil. And maybe we can get it at a cheaper rate. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we're talking about putting in a pit. You'd have to put in a cement blocking pit, or whatever you want to call it. But have our own pumps here. I don't know what the cost of it would be involved, but we'd have to, talk to New Paris Oil and go for that.
I think that's worth looking into.
I do.
I'd like to know what it's going to cost us to set
Well,
it up
absolutely.
again.
I mean,
You know, what we
right.
can get as a rate.
Sure, and that's what Rick was wanting to do, is go and talk to these people and see what we can do. Because it may be worth our while to do just that, So, something for us to think about.
I've called him. I am working on some numbers to get back to him, for him to get back to me. He wants to know our usage, our yearly usage on diesel, in our
Well, sure.
yearly usage on regular. So
Sure.
as soon as I get you those numbers, I'll get you the numbers, maybe for the next meeting. Get you some information.
I think it's something to think about.
It can't hurt to have that information, that's for sure.
Absolutely not. That's all I got for Billy for now.
Streets.
Streets. We're covered up in snow.
They look good, though,
But Eddie's been doing a heck of a job. He really has. I know he was out for all night Saturday night and most of the day Sunday. And he's been doing a real good job, I think. I know this is on farther on down. But Eddie has done his 90 days is up. So we might as well talk about that now. We agreed that when we hired him that we would give him a raise after his 90 days. So, and I was thinking of taking him from 1330 up to 1430. I've talked to Rick. He seemed to think that's what we need to do too. Because he's also cross-training into the water department, as always, and getting his training in there. He's doing a heck of a job. He's already saved us a ton of money and just working on our equipment ourselves. I mean, the guy, I don't have to tell him anything. He sees something that needs to be done, he does it. It's done. So, Chief's got anything, I know Eddie's, he's Johnny on the spot. He just does it. I like to keep this guy within our community and keep him here, and I think this would give him, at least at this point right now, that put him in a spot to know that we could hold on to him. What do you guys think?
I agree.
What do you think?
Sounds good.
And then from here on out,
I've heard a lot
we'll
of
give him
good.
this now and keep him where he's at, and then from now on, we'll go with up the ladder up to, I think, $16. I think that's what we pretty much come at the base for this job. That's what Billy was at, 1608, was he not? Something like
I
that.
have to look.
But anyway, I mean,
What about zoning inspector?
well,
Is
that's
he gonna be doing
exactly,
that
yes,
too?
yes. And that's the other part of this. Rick wanted to go ahead and,
appoint him.
yes, thank you.
It's all right.
As zoning inspector and also as street commissioner also. That's what Billy was also. See, we gotta have the street commissioner in order to file for a lot of these grants. So we've always made the street guy a street commissioner also, and zoning, and he's very, very knowledgeable on that, and I think he'd do a good job at it. And that's what Rick wanted to go ahead and appoint him to those positions, and that's up to us. So.
I'd like to move that we end the probationary period for Eddie Van Zandt, make him a permanent employee with all benefits accrued to that. That he be named street commissioner at a rate of $14.30 an hour. And that he be named to zoning and planning as the zoning officer
Yes.
for the village of New Paris.
And street commissioner.
I did, I thought I had
She
the
did.
commissioner in there
She
someplace,
did.
but
Yes, she
yes,
added
it's
that.
included.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Mary Jane,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Neil.
Yes. Thank you.
And you would like this effective as
Immediately.
of,
Because his date's the 3rd.
yeah, it's tomorrow.
Yes,
So, his next payroll will actually be,
but he would start tomorrow.
Yes.
Correct?
yeah.
Does that work for you? If we started tomorrow? Well, it won't make it that.
Starting Wednesday.
It'll actually be, March 4th.
If we get paid tomorrow.
Yeah, because the
Okay.
end of
Right.
payroll is tomorrow.
Okay.
So effective March 4th will be our new,
Pay period.
which, let me go back to him if I may. We are going back to January 1st on his, are we not?
That's correct.
What, retroactive back to him?
I have no idea.
Because his anniversary date was January 1st. Back to Chuck. Or are we going,
The paper I just signed said January 1st.
Okay.
is that what we're
Well,
doing?
then that's probably
Yeah,
what it's
that's
meant
what's
to
on
be.
there, but
If that's on the paper, then that's apparently what it's meant to be.
Okay.
When you sign it, just, you know.
Do you need a motion on that?
Yes, we probably
I
should.
moved, oh, for Chris?
Yes.
Yeah, we probably should.
Yes, I need a motion on that to go back to January.
I moved because of the paperwork and because that is his anniversary date, that chief driver's pay rate is retroactive to January 1st.
Second.
Second.
Neil,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
Mary Jane.
Yes.
Thank you. All right, is there anything else on streets? Okay, lights.
They did replace some lights, though. I think I saw them in town. Ralph will know, I'm sure. but-
Yeah, and then we're still working on one that was at the intersection of Washington and Cherry, which I followed up with them again today, and it's supposed to be fixed tomorrow. Finance.
I have nothing yet. We have a resolution in a little bit, but we'll just wait until then.
Sanitation.
Oh, wait a minute, on your finance and stuff like that, are you going to bring up the resolution about the,
It's on the agenda under resolution and ordinance. That's the donation thing? Is it?
No,
No?
no,
What are you
no.
talking about?
about the personnel policy?
No, we're not bringing anything up about that until we can talk to each other again.
Okay.
Sanitation.
I don't have anything.
Planning.
If they never have school, maybe I could get some.
I know planning, there have been somebody submitted something, but we're waiting for this deal with Eddie, so now we'll let him get his feet wet and take care of that.
EPA. Nothing. All right, resolutions and ordinances. I have a resolution to amend the certificate, 2015 certificate of estimated resources for Levon, the county auditor. It is for some miscellaneous operating revenue that we received in for the police fund. We received in like $400 from, you know, to help me out, from training from the state Attorney General's office, from some training. Also received in some drug law police money. And we also are going to do the donation money for the Marks radios. So I had to do a amended certificate, so I need to approve that tonight and do that as an emergency to get that sent to the auditor. So that is resolution 2015-01. So if I can have a motion to approve that.
Second.
Neil?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Kathy? Mary Jane?
Yes.
And to pass that as an emergency and waive the three reading rule.
So moved.
Second.
Neil?
Yes.
Bill? Kathy?
Yes.
Mary Jane?
Yes.
And then the next resolution is, Kathy, if you'd like to read that for the police donation, the radios.
This is resolution number 2015-02, a resolution to accept a donation of funds and to designate the use and purpose of said funds. Whereas countywide update in communication and dispatching of police officers has been mandated by the Fairfield County Sheriff's Office, which requires the purchase and installation of new radio equipment, and whereas the council of the Village of New Paris has executed a contract to purchase radios and items associated with the use of these radios by the New Paris Police Department, the cost of which is $44,109.98, and whereas an anonymous donor has expressed an intention of providing funds to pay the cost of this upgraded equipment, now be it therefore resolved by the council of the Village of New Paris, Preble County, State of Ohio, that council of the Village of New Paris gratefully accepts the anonymous donation of said funds on behalf of the people of the village and agrees that these funds will be used to cover the cost of the radio equipment and the installation of same, and be it further resolved that the terms of anonymity required by the donor shall be honored and no attempt to discover or disclose the donor's identity shall be made.
Taking a motion to accept that resolution.
So moved.
Second.
Neil?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes.
Mary Jane?
Yes.
It says on it that it is, but we will go ahead since that's our practice. And I move that we pass this as an emergency resolution and avoid the free reading rule.
Second.
Mary Jane?
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes.
Bill? Neil?
Yes.
On new business, do we have any old business, even? Okay, yeah, Chris's review is done. Anybody else have anything? Okay, on new business, I just wanted to make a announcement that the city of Hamilton will be here to help residents in New Paris file the income tax forms. It is a free service. They will be here in council chambers on the 26th of March from 2:30 to 6:30. They don't have to make an appointment. They just need to bring all their required documentation, and they will sit in here and help them file. They'll take their payment if they have to make a payment, and that's it. It's a free service, so. And that's March 26th from 2:30 to 6:30. The next thing is our flood insurance renewal is due April 10th. If we keep the coverage the same, we right now have $150,000 coverage. If we keep it the same, our premiums would go up slightly to $3,307. If we increase our coverage to $165,000, our premiums would go up to $3,537. We're currently paying $2,575. So it's gonna go up either way. It's either you wanna keep the coverage at $150,000 or go up to $165 and pay the more premium.
I have a question, are we talking about just
This is the
this
coverage of the
building and
building.
our equipment?
This is the flood insurance.
Yes, but it doesn't have anything to do with the water and sewer infrastructure here, or it's, that
Say
includes
it would
theirs
be
too?
everything.
Well, I'm wondering if the premium is just what we would have to pay.
It says
as far
located,
as-
it's just 301 West Cherry.
Does the water board pay any of that? Do they pay a part of it?
I will have to look.
I was thinking we split some of that.
I thought we did
can't
too, if
remember.
I remember.
Probably do.
So
If I
the
remember
300,
right, you
the
did.
3307 is the total premium, no matter,
That's what we pay.
that's what's paid totally to this company, is that correct?
A month, yeah.
A month.
We right now pay $2,575 right now.
A month?
$2,575.
Wow. That didn't sound right.
Expecting more than 12, I am sure.
Yeah.
Last year, we chose to keep the coverage the same at $150,000. Our premium went up last year. We chose to keep it the same. Of course, the premiums go up every year.
Yeah.
I just need to make, which we don't have to prove it tonight. We can wait till April 6th, but it's really cut because I have to have it in by April 10th.
Check and see if the water board pays part of that. I would approve it, how do I state it?
Why don't you just table that to the next meeting? She's got time. Correct?
It's due on the 10th of April, so if you prove it on April 6th, I can pay it on April 7th. It'll give
It'd
it
be-
3 days to get there.
Which it'd be there.
Okay.
Don't you want to think about it a little bit or not?
I know what I want to do, I just don't know whether the water board pays half of that or not. I don't remember. We have to have it, doesn't matter, I mean, it's got to be
Oh,
paid.
We do it every year. I mean, it's
And I
not
know
anything new. We
that
have a
it's too late to
purchase
do
order.
anything about it, but I do wonder if there, I'm sure there's not many people out there waiting to do flood insurance. Are there any other alternative sources for that?
I'm sure there are.
I have no idea, honestly. I just know it's a blanket purchase order we write every year.
Yeah, this came down, if
I
I
don't know.
remember right, came from FEMA to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
They made us do this to begin with.
Well, I'm sure, but one, you have to have it.
We didn't
I
have a
know
choice.
No,
out
I
here
think you
where
do.
my daughter lives, they have to, or the guy that owns the place, it's $1,200 a year, but I can't, why would this be different?
Yeah, they changed the floodplain here in this and added more people into what it originally.
Yeah, I
was.
know, but still the cost,
some
I
people
know
had to opt
everybody
out
over there
if they
on,
wanted to.
Outrageous myself.
I know,
Oh, yeah.
$2,000 a month.
It's 3307 a month.
Mhm.
It will now go up to $3,307 a month if we
Yeah.
just do the same amount of coverage.
That doesn't sound right, though.
For
We
another
do have a lot of
$200, you give up
equipment, though.
another 15,000, right?
Yes.
It's,
Let's
that's why I'm saying,
check.
maybe we ought to table this a little bit and think about
Pay
it.
the money and just rebuild. I mean, you, come on.
There's got to be
Lot of money.
a
But,
cheaper.
yeah, but you have to have it, you have to have it.
Yeah, I know we
Because of FEMA.
do.
And that was in order for, if anything would happen, that this would be covered
Yeah.
through the emergency plan and all that stuff. See, they've got you regardless of what you want to do here, but
Aren't we-
if you want to think about this a little bit, let's, why don't we wait till the next
Aren't
meeting?
we members of the Ohio Municipal League anymore? I've not heard
We were.
anything.
Still are.
Well, they have a coverage plan there. Let's check with them and see what we could get some insurance for.
I mean, mean, I don't want to burden you because there's not an awful lot of time here,
No,
but
that's the
I
thing.
really think if there is any place else to look, we should look.
Or even
It
ask
can't hurt
them.
us, we may just have to pay the same thing no matter what.
That's right. That's why I say, let's table that to our next meeting.
Well, here's something else that you, well, they was renting that house out there, and it's more for renters than a property owner only has to pay half of that, which will be $600 a year. That's crazy.
I move that we table this until the next meeting.
I'll second that.
I'll call and see if I can, you call and I'll
Yes.
call some different people.
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes.
Mary Jane?
Yes.
That's a lot of money.
All right. My review is due April 1st.
I guess we'll keep you.
But it's mine.
Just think about what great job I'm doing tonight.
There's one thing about it, you haven't been putting any candy in the drawer.
When I come down.
If that's
to read-
all it takes,
When
I
I
will
come
fill
down to
that
reading
drawer
and stuff,
up.
I like to have something to say.
You won't be here, will you?
No cookies, and you haven't been making any coffee.
You might want to make a note of that for the mayor, since you won't be here on the first.
I'll make a
You
big
want to
note.
go ahead and.
I'll make a
take
big
care of
note
that
on
before
his
you go
mailbox.
out of town.
Diana girl.
And then.
It's also April Fool's Day.
I know, I'm retired. My first day here was April Fool's Day, so that's kind of weird.
It was.
And then the other thing is the annual local government officials conference is the 31st through April 2nd. That's what I have to attend. It's mandatory every year where I go to Columbus, and I take my classes, and I will be gone, so.
Do we need to vote you some funds for that, or?
I have paid already, the funds were already allocated for the class, so I paid for the class, because if I paid for the class early, I got a discount, so I already paid for the class. I'll probably just pay for the expenses, and then they'll just reimburse me when I get back.
Oh, that's what we got the credit card.
Use a
for.
credit
Yeah.
card.
Well, and it's a
Yeah.
mandated thing, so we don't have to vote that you can go, you have to go.
Yes.
Okay.
So other than that, does anybody have anything else?
No.
So the next meeting will be April 6th, 7 p.m.
I will not be here.
Okay.
I won't be here in April.
I make a motion we adjourn.
Second.